Hello and welcome to the Ultimate Florida Sports Show. I'm Chris Porter alongside my tag team partner, Evan Closky. Once again, Evan, tough week for the teams in our area.
Yeah, I liked it better when it was the beginning of the season. We just kept talking about dubs. We're like Jameis Winston, where you're eating them dubs. Look, we got a great show for you. We're talking college football playoffs. Caitlin Clark switching sports in the Sunshine State. Our best bets in the Ultimate Stakes. But first, let's start off with them Jaguars.
Let's do it. Jaguar fans' greatest fears realized earlier this week when the team announced Travis Hunter's season is over. The rookie receiver and cornerback had surgery Tuesday in Big D to repair a ligament in his right knee. Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen saying it's too early to start talking about Travis's future, long-term future as a two-way player. Cohen adding any decision on Hunter's future role will wait until the offseason, but his staff will review how they used him in the 7 games before the injury. He's already back in the 904 and rehab at the team facility. As for now, Hunter remains part of team meetings while he begins his recovery.
I definitely think the whole thing's been a learning experiment, and but getting to know the person has obviously been the most important thing, and the type of competitor, the way that he learns, the way that he competes, the way that he practices. That's stuff that we've been able to gain valuable information on and be able to use moving forward and actually put into continued practice.
And we figured when the team added Jacoby Myers via a trade, it was a sign Hunter's injury would be one that would keep him sidelined for a while, Evan.
Yeah, and staying with the offensive side of the ball, Liam Cohen he needs to see more production from his offense.
Absolutely. The Jaguars' offense has lacked explosive plays, and Cohen wants his quarterback Trevor Lawrence to take more chances. Look, the Jags' offense went cold in the fourth quarter of last week's loss against AFC South Division rival Houston. The Texans scored 26 unanswered points. And no, I did not stutter. Outgained the Big Cats 167-11 in that final period. That just ain't right. The Big Cats offense has to be more productive, has to get more explosive plays, and Cohen is urging Trevor Lawrence to let it rip.
Going out there and cutting it loose and feeling a little bit more freedom to let some things go, to take some shots. And, I think that's the balance of playing quarterback, right, is the balance of aggressiveness, of when to take the shot, when to, take completions, when to protect the ball. And I think that's something where, just specifically looking at this last game, I think there was, probably a few opportunities where I could have maybe thrown a couple balls a little earlier, give our guys some chances down the field. And, you might not hit all of them, but try to avoid some of those sacks.
Want some good news? I got some good news. Trevor and the Jaguars offense, tight end Britton Strange could suit up this weekend for them. The team opened its 21-day practice window after missing 4 games. He was on IR with a hip and quad injuries suffered against the Kansas City Chiefs.
And he is a sneaky big piece to that offense, so it's great to see that he could be back on the field. He is going to help out immensely. As for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, hey, I got some good injury news, too. It was really nice to see Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin Jr. back on the practice field. We haven't seen Bucky since Week 4 against the Eagles. We haven't seen Chris Godwin Jr. since Week 5 against the Seahawks. Their return could be coming sooner rather than later. As for Baker Mayfield, his play has certainly dipped the last few games. On the CBS broadcast, he said he was about 50% before the bye week. He is trending in the right direction health-wise, but still, the offense, it looks a bit clunky. And yes, injuries play a role, but it's not just about the injuries. Mayfield stood up in front of the podium after the game, calling out his teammates, including himself, for bringing mistakes in practice onto the field on Sunday. It was as mad of a post-game press conference as we have seen from Baker, and Todd Bowles is A-OK with that.
When you're one of the captains of the team, you know what it looks like. We encourage accountability here. We don't pull any wooden nickels out of here. So we talk about when we do good and when we do bad and what we need to do better as a team. He spoke and everybody took it the right way. We're not getting on anybody in a bad way, but leadership counts on this team. So when certain people talk, everybody takes heat for it. So I'm perfectly fine with it.
People think Todd Bowles is some quiet, soft-spoken dude, but behind the scenes, he is not like that. He has built a great culture with the Bucs, and you're catching a glimpse of it as to why he's been so successful during his tenure.
You know what? Baker Mayfield going off, as long as you walk the walk, you can talk the talk. I don't have an issue with that. Speaking of Todd Bowles, what are your thoughts, Evan, on the defense right now after that game against the New England Patriots?
The best way I can describe it, Chris, was like watching a starting pitcher in baseball go 7 innings, strike out 10 batters, and only give up 4 hits. Sounds pretty good until I tell you the 4 hits were all home runs.
Dang.
You can see Todd Bowles was more involved at practice with the defensive line because they have to stop those explosive plays. My man's running in motion. I mean, 250 of the 435 yards last week were on 4 plays. They held Drake May to one of the worst completion percentages of his career. There was a lot of good with that unit. They get sacks. They create pressure. Jamel Dean might be an all-pro this season. Servassier Dennis is improving. Levante David is still doing his thing. They are on the cusp of being Super Bowl caliber, Chris, but they'll never get there if they keep allowing those home runs. The Bills feast off explosive plays. So this is a huge test this weekend in Buffalo.
Same issue here in Jacksonville. Liam Cohen wants that defensive line to get more penetration and pressure. Despite being benched at halftime, let's talk college football. Of last week's 38-7 loss to Kentucky, replacing him with Mandarin alum and Jacksonville native Tremel Jones Jr. Billy Gonzalez is sticking with DJ Lagway. It's been a tough sophomore season for the Gators quarterback after a promising freshman year that saw him go 6-1 as the starter. Lagway's taking a step back. The Gators hope for steady growth after Lagway missed much of the offseason, recovering from multiple injuries, but that is just not happening. Coach Gonzalez talked about his decision to bench Lagway a week ago.
There's competition everywhere, and there should be competition. But, I told DJ, and I had a chance to talk with him. That was I told the staff the same thing. That was my decision to take him out of the game at that point. And, we were struggling. He had a tough, but it's not all on him, and I've told him that. I said, as a coach, it's our responsibility. If someone's struggling, help them out or take them out so they're not put in that position to have to keep fighting through that.
And now as Florida searches for its next head coach, Lagway faces growing questions about his future, and he's yet to commit to staying in Gainesville beyond this season.
Yeah, we got to figure out who's the coach, because he needs some help, and he also needs to stay healthy throughout the offseason. I think that's the biggest lesson here. As for the college football playoff bracket, if the season ended today, USF would have 7 hours north to take on Georgia.
We
also have Miami now back in the postseason picture as the ACC is in complete disarray. But let's talk about USF, who earned its first ever playoff ranking this week at number 24. It is obvious now the Bulls control their own destiny. Also, Byron Brown is the number 1 quarterback in the country no one is talking about. Listen to this, Chris. He is the only FBS or NFL signal caller in the last 30 years to tally at least 200 passing yards, 80 rushing yards, and at least 1 rushing touchdown in 5 consecutive games. There's a lot to like about this team, but Alex Goldish wants his guys to take it one day at a time.
Elite teams find a way to improve as they go here in November. Elite teams find a way to stay focused. Elite teams continuously get better week to week to week as you go into a run here where every single play, every single series, every single thing that you're doing is critically important. And the challenge to our team is, can we find a way to improve?
Heading up to Navy is quite the test, but also another resume builder if the Bulls can pull off another victory.
My. Let's keep talking college football. The 2025 season was a roller coaster for the Edward Waters Tigers, filled with record-setting highs and late season challenges. EWU opened the year with a program best 3-0 start, but things even out as the Tigers went 2-5 over their final 7 games, closing the regular season with a record of 5-5. Despite the ups and downs, one constant stood out: the steady play of quarterback Noah Botten. Botten was the driving force behind an offense that averaged more than 30 points per game, helping establish EWU as one of the SIAC's most improved teams. Botten transferred to EWU after 2 years at Southern University. With his leadership and playmaking, Botten is helping set the foundation, ensuring the Tigers' future remains bright.
It's really about, the future of this program, because right now, it's great, setting records and doing something that's never been done before, but it's all about leaving a foundation for the people that come behind us.
Noah Botten's good play did not go unnoticed this season. The senior signal caller won the SIAC's Newcomer of the Week award twice this season, but they're doing some good things off of Kings Road.
Yeah, absolutely. And switching sports now, the Tampa Bay area is hosting the LPGA Annika tournament this week. And for the second consecutive year, Caitlin Clark traded in her basketball for golf clubs to play in the Pro-Am alongside Nelly Korda, one of the best players in the world right now. Derek Brooks is a legend in Tampa Bay and had a only a handful of people around the course watching him. Meanwhile, the amount of Indiana Fever jerseys at the Pelican Golf Club was astonishing to see. She is a superstar. Also, her and Nelly Corda are great role models for younger girls looking to play sports.
Always cool when you see the amount of people that come out and want to support not only myself, but just women's sports in general. Obviously, we're in a very exciting time where, you know, all sports across the board are seeing more and more viewership and more people buying tickets, you know, more people buying merchandise, whatever it is, and that's a really exciting thing.
The gravitational pull Caitlin Clark has is truly phenomenal, and using her platform to bring more exposure to other women's sports, awesome to see.
Just need her to stay healthy. When she's healthy, I want to watch the Fever. No lie. When she's not in the game, not so interested.
Yeah, and I totally understand that. She is such a good player. Hopefully, we'll see a lot more of her next season in the WNBA. In the heart of the game, we head out to the water. We head out to the water. Yeah, that's what I wrote in the script. And explain how a fishing trip with the Lightning and Charles Barkley is raising money for a great cause.
Plus, it's about time. Dallas Mavericks fans have been calling for his firing for months. And finally, Nico Harrison was shown the door. My thoughts in the Ultimate Rush. Time now for the Ultimate Rush. This is where we dig into some more topics affecting the Sunshine State and beyond.
The only catch is we have 60 seconds to make our point, and I'm going to start us off with the Tampa Bay Rays and some beer. Yeah, I said beer, Chris. I like to have some suds from time to time. And so does new Rays CEO Ken Babby, who stopped by Ferg's, a very popular sports bar outside of Tropicana Field, and bought a whole host of fans attending a meet and greet around a beer. We haven't heard much from new ownership since the transfer of power, but early impressions are good. First off, the owners are putting money into the Trop for improvements, the main video board, sound system, and video displays. Also, pricing will be reduced by an average of 15% on more than 2/3 of the tickets inside the Trop when you compare it to 2024, not what we saw at Steinbrenner Field. You'll also see $10 tickets brought back, which is great for families. This is the kind of energy the Rays needed. Speaking with those in the community, trying to make games more affordable. I know fans want to see more of an investment in the team on the field, and hopefully with the new stadium, that is going to happen in the future. And here's the best news. The final panels should be put up in the Trop next weekend, which means that we have the building ready to roll by early March, which is ahead of schedule. We like that.
Great news for you guys with all the drama with the ownership change. And Ken Babby, he's a great dude here in Jacksonville, what he's done with the Jumbo Shrimp. Absolutely great. He's all about the fan experience. Jump ball, get it, get it. The Dallas Mavericks finally pulled the plug on Nico Harrison out as general manager. Let's be honest, this one has been brewing since the day he shipped Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers 9 months ago. That blockbuster deal built around Anthony Davis was supposed to reshape the Mavericks. Instead, it detonated the franchise. Even after lucking into the number 1 pick and landing Cooper Flagg, the Mavericks' 3-8 start this season was the nail in the coffin. Bottom of the West, zero chemistry, and a fan base that's been furious since the Luka trade. Mavericks governor Patrick Dumont made it official on Tuesday, thanking Harrison in an open letter, but the damage was done. And just hours later, Luka, being shady, twisted the knife, posting happy Lakers photos on Instagram, no caption needed. For Dallas, this isn't just the end of the Nico Harrison era, it's the fallout from one of the most catastrophic trades in modern NBA history, one that I'm still perplexed by. Why? How?
My only question is, why did it take that long, right? The hour that was approved, bye-bye. See you later.
Yes.
It's a mess.
Now to the heart of the game. This is where we go beyond the X's and the O's and remind you why we fell in love with sports in the first place. And Evan, once again, I almost forgot it was my read. You start us off in Dallas.
Look, this poor story between my tees, that read. Look, every year John Cooper and the Lightning players take an off day and head out for a fishing trip. And while it's a team bonding event, it's so much bigger than that. It's all in an effort to help raise money for pediatric cancer research and patient services. We even had Sir Charles Barkley on the water. The players interact and fish with kids who have been affected by the disease. The event raised more than $500,000 this year.
We came from humble beginnings. It was an idea one day on the water, inspired from our good friend Tony Colton, who's no longer with us. But it's his legacy has stuck with us, and this tournament stuck with us. And every year it just gets bigger and better.
So John Cooper has been doing this for 10 years. This was his 8th event. He's raised north of $1.5 million, wow. And this past year was $500,000. So what John is hoping for in the next upcoming years is that you're going to see this thing get bigger and better. And he likened it to what Dick Vitale does in Sarasota every year, and Dick Vitale is a great friend of John Cooper's.
You know, I'm not big into fishing, but I would love to have been on the boat with Charles Barkley. There is no telling what that dude was saying while they were out on the sea. But yeah, terrific event, and it appears it is getting bigger and bigger with the amount of money he's already raised.
Yeah, and you know what? Charles Barkley did catch a fish. It was a tiny one, but he did catch one, so we got to give him credit. We are going to take a quick timeout, but in the Ultimate Stakes, we're breaking down our best bets from the Jags and the Buccaneers games this weekend.
This might sound strange, but I wasn't always a good dad. My kid needed to hear me say, I'm sorry.
See what you got. Oh, you gonna back me down? You gonna post me?
He knows I'm not perfect, but he knows I'm trying. That's why I choose to be a father first.
We are back for our Ultimate Stakes segment. This is where we take a look at the odds via the Hard Rock betting app and give you our thoughts on teams or games. It all just depends on the week.
Just a reminder, this is for entertainment purposes only, so if you don't win, don't come after us. The Jaguars and Chargers squaring off here in the 904, and since that epic comeback by Trevor Lawrence and the Jags back in 2022 in the playoffs, that was a playoff game in which the Chargers led 27-0, but the Jags rallied to win and advanced to face the Chiefs in the divisional round. But that was then and this is now, and the Hard Rock betting app has the Chargers as 2.5-point favorites. I agree, and here's why. The Chargers have tons of success on third downs on both sides of the ball. I'll just focus on the offensive side. Keenan Allen is the most targeted receiver on third down in the NFL, and he can wiggle, separate, and win. He's got strong hands and is a smart football player. And I don't even have time to mention Ladd McConkey, the Chargers' other talented receiver. Saying all that to say, put your money on the Chargers.
As for the Buccaneers, as of this taping, there are no lines on Tampa Bay's running backs because of the injury concerns. But as you get closer to Sunday, take a look there because the Bills are one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. And for Tampa Bay to win, they're going to have to run the football. Tampa Bay actually did well against the Patriots in that department last week, going 5.4 yards per carry. Luke Gedeke obviously helps. And as for the side, I'm not 100% sure on this one. I wouldn't want to bet against the Bills in a bounce-back spot. I also wouldn't want to bet against the Buccaneers, who notoriously play close games and are catching 5.5 points. I think my favorite prop is Emeka Egbuka, longest reception, 24-plus yards. He's hit that mark in 7 of 9 games this season, Chris.
Yep. Up next in the last word, why Buccaneers fans need to move on from last week's loss and why Jaguar fans can do the opposite of that. You're watching the Ultimate Florida Sports Show. Time now for our last word. This is where we clear the paint and sound off on a topic that has caught our attention.
Now I'm going to start us off with me doing a PSA after the Bucs lost last week. Relax. Everyone relax. Should fans be angry about the performance against the Patriots? Yes. Should fans want their team to play better? Yes. Can they critique Todd Bowles, Baker Mayfield, Josh Grizzard, and others? Absolutely. But, man, you would have thought the Bucs lost to a winless team with the responses from some fans after this game. The Bucs are 6-3. They are in full control of the NFC South by more than a game. I get it. Todd Bowles has historically not done well punching above his weight class against teams. But, come on now. The Bucs are going to be underdogs against the Bills and Rams. So, yeah, it could get worse before it gets better, but still. Despite an epic collapse here at the end, this team will likely be in the playoffs and likely much healthier, and they will be a very good team near the end of this season.
Yeah, just chill, just chill. It's a new week, and the Jaguars have a new opponent. But I'll be honest, I still have not moved past last week's collapse against the Houston Texans. A 19-point lead in the fourth quarter gone. Houston rally and Jacksonville crumble. I've already talked about how sharp the Texans offense looked in the final quarter, but let's not ignore how flat the Jaguars offense was down the stretch. 3 and out, a crucial penalty on the Jags' final possession that eventually led to a turnover. That's how you gas your defense and hand a game away. Now, players are saying they moved on, but I want to see how they respond because the same issues, penalties, no big plays on offense, not getting to the opposing quarterback. They've been there all year. It's week 11, my friends, and I'm asking myself, are these the same old Jags?
Yeah, I mean, especially going up against Davis Mills.
Yes.
To have that sort of comeback, it certainly hurts. And you know what? This is going to be a great test for Liam Cohen, that young coaching staff, right? Everything's great when you begin the season. Everyone loves you. Everyone's pumping up your tires. What's going to happen now that you have adversity?
Trevor,
You're facing the losses,
let it rip.
right? This is
Bottom
going to be
line,
a good.
take some chances, throw the ball down the field. Jacoby Myers, time for you to go off. We'll see you here next week.